What's going on, guys? Welcome to the 20 Percenters, where we focus on what matters: health, wealth, relationships, and time. And I have the honor of sitting down with Dr. Rachel Hesselbrock,
Aw.
naturopath, founder of Alinea Health,
Yep.
my naturopath, and I am in your debt immensely. You figured out what was wrong with me. I had you on my previous show, Feed Me, Fuel Me, and we got like ultra informative about naturopathic medicine and all that good stuff. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. It still exists. It's out there in the interweb. But I now have the experience of being one of your patients, and what I found super interesting after spending 18 months going through the Western medicine diagnostic process and ultimately becoming slowly but surely reliant upon an albuterol inhaler after being diagnosed with adult onset asthma. What we ultimately came down to when we sat down as a last resort for me. I was in that position where I've tried everything, right? So here we are.
Yeah.
Fix me.
Yeah.
And after we went through your diagnostic questionnaire, what we ultimately figured out was that there are a lot of confounding factors that kind of just go under the radar above and beyond what's the physical manifestation of the things that are going on. Point being, you asked me about my stress and specifically my PTSD. And I remember this conversation very vividly. My response to you was, I didn't have that kind of job. I wasn't dodging bullets day in and day out. I'm good. Like, I know I have it, but like, it shouldn't be fucking me up. And your response was, you need to really take a good look at everything that you don't think you brought home that you brought home. And then we dove down the path. And now I'm getting, through your treatment protocol, working with Margie and acupuncture. You guys are a phenomenal team, by the way.
I love Margie. She's awesome.
Illy and our weekly treatments on my knee and my with massage and whatnot. The things that are manifesting for me now, I didn't realize how much sleep I wasn't getting, and what a detriment that was. And the way you explained it was to me was, now that I'm in a position, the business is rock solid, family's good. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm playing like towards the top. Now my body's like, hey, what about us?
Yep.
What about me?
Yep.
Let's start fixing this shit. And now that I can breathe, which is really nice.
Super cool.
Yeah. I'm getting like an easy, 6 to 8 hours a night.
You're at like 2.
Yeah, it was fucking miserable.
It's horrible.
You know what I mean? So I'm in I owe you a huge debt of gratitude for, taking the time to, dive deeper than the physical manifestation, which is, in my experience with conventional medicine, like legitimate trauma, ACL reconstruction, stuff like that, that's kind of where it stops.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you took it many steps further to really figure out what exactly was going on. So I appreciate that.
Well, absolutely.
And because we talked about this on the last time I had you on the show, with regards to just your practice in general. are those extra layers something that you've built into your practice, or is that part of the process that you learned in med school?
Probably part of just something I included in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when you have conventional medicine, naturopathic medicine, Eastern medicine, whatever, they only teach you as much as they can teach you in 4 years, 2 years, however long it is you're going.
Yeah.
And what worked for me and going through my journey was finding those underlying layers and dealing with those layers. And that's when everything else just kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And so I think it's super important to look at everything. Like, you're not just a nose, you're not just a kidney, you're not just a liver. So like just treating that thing is doing a detriment to your patients.
Yeah.
Because they're a whole person.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, like, we're super good at, oh, this doesn't bother me anymore. It's fine. I know I have it. I know it's there, but it's fine. It's fine. I can function.
Yeah.
Right. But then you just get so used to it that you don't even realize the way you're functioning is totally not good.
Yeah.
For lack of a better word. And so, you know, helping patients kind of see that and bringing it to light, like, hey, listen, you might not think it's a big deal, but like you told me, you know, whenever I go out, I'm like at attention because I'm always like kind of like on guard.
Yeah.
You should, like, what you went through is completely different than, you know, anybody who wasn't in the military for sure, but that's not life.
Sure.
That's not how life should be. And so something that you see is completely like, well, that's how I was trained and that's what I do and that's the product of my environment. Sure, but like you're not in that situation anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So you can like rest easy.
That whole what served you then doesn't serve you now.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally. So yeah, long story short, I guess I just kind of, I think it's important to look at everything.
Yeah.
Mind, body, emotions.
But I mean, I feel like it's a little deeper than that for you. It's like it's very intuitive.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you gather that your intuition comes from?
I don't know. Shit. Where does intuition come from? Like, who can answer that question? I think I pay attention a lot closer than other people. And I don't know. Like, you might move a certain way when you say something, or you might do a certain action, or you keep saying the same thing over and over again, just in a different way. And it's kind of like, oh, well, they keep bringing that up. That's interesting. I wonder what that's about. And like I said last time, you just ask questions about it. Yeah. And that's it. So I don't know. I guess I'm just more observant. Yeah. Than most.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
You've been a lot more active on social media. Yeah. And the last post I engaged with you on, you were you had just finished dealing with a client, if I'm not mistaken, who was asking you for advice on how to fix their kid who is going through whatever kids go through. And your message, it was really interesting because I find this to be true amongst people that are new to deep work and self-work, where they start to project, right? I just learned this new thing that helped me, so now I'm on a mission to unfuck everybody else, right? And your mission was like, stop trying to fix people. Yeah. Right? Yeah. There are people equipped to handle things and do it in a professional, productive manner. Yep. And 90% of us aren't qualified to fucking do that. Right? So
especially parents. Parents and kids, like, it's never going to go well. Yeah. It's never going to go well.
Too close.
You're too close. Yeah. Too close. But so that guy, he actually wasn't a patient, nor was his son. And his son's an adult.
Oh, okay.
Which makes it's almost like, okay.
And I fucked up that whole story.
That's okay. No. You totally got it. You totally got it. But basically, the gentleman came up to me and he was asking me if I treat obesity. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I can treat obesity. And he was saying, every time I try to talk to my son about it, he just gets angry. And I need to fix him. I need to do something. He needs to be there for his kids, and just, on and on and on and on and on. And my response to him was like, well, he knows he's obese. nobody who's obese, it's not like they're blind. They know that they have extra weight. So it's not like they're in the dark on it.
Yeah.
So my response was just like, he needs to be ready and willing to step into that. And if he's not, then all of us can talk till we're blue in the face, and he's not going to do shit.
Right.
Because he's not ready. There's something in there that's holding him back from doing that.
Sure.
And so that just gets me really worked up. Like when people, they're always just like, well, you need to do this and you need to do this. And like I said in my post, like it totally is like demeaning to the person who is going through whatever it is they're going through. Because like they know something's up. It's not like they're stupid.
Right.
And then having someone come at them and say, well, you need to do this. It's like, oh, damn. Like,
yeah,
you must think I'm
less than.
Yeah. Like,
you're judging me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
It's weird because, I don't think that you're justified in, like, and that's a really complex issue. Like you said, there's, you can't, it's absurd to think that somebody's so unaware that they don't know they're in an unhealthy state. Right. With this specific example. That being said, they obviously have not figured out how to fix it for themselves. Right. And for a lot of us that jump into that guidance for them, right? That forceful position of fixing. What I've witnessed is an experience is these are people that they're so far removed from that circumstance that they've skipped all the way to the end with regards to whatever guidance they're trying to give.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they bypassed the first step, right? Which is, just simply awareness and acknowledgement. Like, what do they say in AA? Admit you have a problem.
Totally.
Totally. Like they completely bypass that, and they make it abundantly clear in what is perceived to be a very judgmental way that they're fucked up. Not that they have a problem, right? Or they're in a disadvantageous circumstance. No. It's like, I'm judging you, and you could be better. You know what I mean? And that ultimately doesn't serve anybody, because it makes it, instead of facilitating change, it makes them more reluctant to change.
Totally. You see it time and time again with people. Like I said, my husband does that shit all the time, and we finally got to a point where I'm like, listen, if I'm not specifically saying like, hey, I need your opinion, or can you help me with this? I'm just venting, and I need to just be like, oh, that sucks.
Do you have code words?
That's the code. That was the conversation we had. It was just like, I need you to not do that.
That's hilarious, because me and my wife went through that. And I don't know, I haven't explored it enough to really define whether it's a man-woman thing or if it really is a personality dynamic, right? And I think that it could be a lot of both. But now, because I'm a problem solver, like that is a learned behavior that is now a part of my existence, right? I've grown up, and by virtue of everything I've done in sports, the Marine Corps, coaching, and leadership, do not come to me with a problem without a proposed solution.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So that's my default, right? I've had to unlearn that a little bit so that when my wife and I get into that exchange and she's venting, I have to like take a tactical pause and ask very specifically, do you want me to help you solve this problem, or am I just supposed to sit back and listen? I'm totally capable and okay with doing both. I just need to know what you need from me right now.
Perfect. I love it. No, seriously, that's a great way to go about it, instead of just offering up advice.
That's what I used to do.
I know. And she was probably like, God, you're so annoying.
She's like, that's not what I want right now.
Exactly.
Like, and then, you know, it's that scene from The Notebook. What do you want? You know, it's just like, yes, I have seen The Notebook. And Did
you cry?
I still maintain my masculinity.
Did you cry?
No.
Okay. The Lion King, though. That
Lion King fucked me up. What? I don't think I can tell that story enough. Like, I love The Lion King anyway, but the first time I watched it with my son, and to provide context, he was like not even 1 yet.
So this was still the cartoon
one. He's like in goo goo gaga mode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't get it. I didn't make it past the intro of the movie. I'm just like sobbing, blubbering.
I know.
And my wife is in the other room, and she comes around. He's just you know sitting there stacked on my hip on the couch. You know, I'm just like. She's like, "What is happening right now?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm a crier anyway, but like now that movie has a significant shift in emotional undertones for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The new one though, the live action one, I got through that. I was good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But we watched Lion. Like
I thought you were saying like when they held Simba up, you were just like, oh my God.
I missed that moment with my son when he was born, so I made sure I did it with my daughter.
Got it.
In the hospital.
Wait, like you did that?
Oh yeah. As soon as they cut the cord and let me hold her, I was like, I need to make up for that.
I love it.
And I had my Lion King moment.
Was there a spotlight on?
In my mind there was,
okay, good.
completely fabricated, but whatever. That's the story. That's the way I'll tell the story.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's good.
My wife gets mad at me sometimes because she's like, that's not even close to how it happened, Michael. I'm like, yeah, but if I told it the way it actually happened, it wouldn't be fucking interesting.
That's true.
She's like, still no. That's not, like when I tell like our story, she's like, really?
I like your wife
like,
already.
Did you didn't come in on a white horse in shining armor. That's not how this went down.
Is that every guy's dream? Is that how you
like
all
to be that
tell
dude?
the story?
Duh.
You come in and save all of us damsels in distress.
I saved her from every douchebag that could have potentially come after me. That's
you?
the way I tell the story.
Okay.
She's like, no.
Yeah. Nah. I'm going to let you keep that story.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I own it.
Good.
It's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done.
Speaking of stories, what do you think of Inner Circle?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Of course. You already know this. I made a post on it.
Yeah, whatever. But like, what did you take from it? This is a discussion that I've not had on the show, and
Why?
It's just never really come up.
Why?
I don't know.
Do people not like it as much as I do?
I'm
Did I see something that nobody else saw? And
you felt something.
Shit.
But no, seriously, I wrote that book, and then the response that you posted, if I'm being completely honest, is the effect that I hope to have on everybody who reads it.
Cool.
Seriously.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
But like for everybody who.
Yeah. So I was just reading the book, and I guess I'll just give a little context.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
What I posted.
Yeah.
So being an entrepreneur, for those of you who are, you go through ups and downs, and sometimes it's really amazing, and other times it sucks balls. Like there is no other way. Mm-hmm. The uncertainty, like what the fuck's coming next? What am I doing? Like whatever. It's just a whole bunch of doubt. And I was having one of those days. Let's be real, it was like a month or something like that. You like get up and smile anyways. And you're like, I'm totally fucking fine. Not really. Save me. And I came here, we had an appointment, and you're like, get the book. I was like, yeah. Get the book. And then I just started reading it, and just your perspective from your military time, it's Mission, Marine, and Me is, I believe, what you wrote in that. And a lot of the times in the coaching world or the entrepreneurial world, everybody's like, you just got to remember your why. Remember your why. And I'm like, oh my, for fuck's sake. Like, fine, I'll remember my why. Like, because I want to help people, right? Like, okay, cool. That wasn't doing it for me. Like, I don't know. Like, I do want to help people, but it just wasn't like enough.
Yeah.
And so I just read that particular section just really stuck out to me. And it was just like, you know, the mission comes first. You don't really ask questions on how it's going to happen or what you're supposed to do or anything. You just fucking do whatever is good for the mission. And next is your Marines, like your brothers in arms. So like for me, like I said, it's my patients. For you, I'm sure it's, you know, everybody here in CrossFit, your 20%ers, everything like that. And then last, like, comes you. Like, worry about yourself last. And that to me was the exact same thing as remember your why, but just held so much more weight behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the word mission, because I'm like, yeah, I was never a soldier, but I could totally fucking be one if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that was just like, oh, I forgot. Like, my mission is legit to help people, but also to make people feel really good about themselves while they're doing whatever they're doing, and to support them while they're doing the hard shit.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to get them to the next level and then consequently get humanity to the next level, like, yes, I'm about that. Like, that's like my mission here on earth, I guess. And so just reading that, it like helped so many things, like clear up so many things. So instead of worrying about like, shit, where's the next patient going to come from? Or, shit, am I going to do this talk or not going to do this talk? Or like, should I do this networking event? Should I not? Like, I don't know. Instead of all this uncertainty, it was like, boom, what's going to get my mission going? And then everything was just already decided. Yeah, I need to do that because that's going to get the mission further. You know what I mean? So it was like, instead of like, oh, I don't want to, or I'm so fucking tired or whatever, it's just like, do your fucking shit. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, seriously, because it was just a time when, you know, everybody has it, and it's just nice to read something and just be like, okay, cool.
I've always said, I haven't always said, but you know, one of my mantras is that you hear, see, or read what you need to hear, see, or read when you need to hear, see, or read it. You know, so I'm very humbled that you were in that moment, and that's what you needed to hear, see, and read.
Totally.
You know, for further context, like you always had, it's not an absolute hierarchy because there is no mission without you, right? So I don't want to get that misconstrued, because another one of the things that I subscribe to is that self-care isn't selfish, right? You got to take care of you, which is kind of like why we're in each other's universes in the fucking first place, right? It's because I'm falling apart, and as a byproduct, other things can fall apart very quickly.
Can I tell them real quickly what you said to me the first time we met?
Sure.
You go,
I don't remember.
Okay, so we had our first appointment, and we're talking, and we're not even done talking about you. And you're like, how can I help you? What do you need? Like, how can I get you out there? And I was like, can you fucking stop? Like, let's fill your cup first, and then we'll get there. So I love how you're like, self-care is not selfless, and yet you're
like, you're helping me out. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. But like, let's get you there first.
I totally forgot about that.
Oh my God. So I started dying laughing. I was like, all right, I see it. I get it. Very thankful. But still, it's like, shut up. Enough.
I mean, to your point, that doesn't paint a more perfect picture than what you just said.
Yeah.
You know, we're, I often tell people I'm just as much an athlete as I am a coach. Do as I say, not as I do. You know, kind of a thing. But the hierarchy isn't absolute. But when everything is operating optimally, you know, which it rarely does, but when it as close to optimal as possible, that's the thought process, right? And more specifically, when it comes to the inconvenience of growth, like I just got done having this conversation, right? In order for things to evolve, that requires change. And change is often uh, often comes with discomfort. Like, it's not fucking easy. I mean, that's fitness. You spend an hour breaking it down to spend the other 3 building it back up, right?
Yep.
And I think that also provides great context for the bigger conversation here, in that the discomfort is momentary, and you spend a lot more time growing outside of that discomfort because of that moment of discomfort, right? But if we don't have that long term, that mission, right? We get lost in those moments, right? And we spend way more time in those moments creating those negative cycles. So for context, it's like, the mission is your why, but the mission justifies the discomfort, right? Smile and do it anyway. That what have I got to lose now thing, right? It all plays into the greater good, right? We're all going to be uncomfortable right now, but this is why, right? We're not going through this moment of turbulence just because we got to push through this storm to get to the other side, but that you can't go around it, right? And that's the thing. When it comes to, in the context of the Marine Corps, it's like, okay, fellas, this is why we're going into harm's way. That's the mission. Oh, and by the way, I'll be there with you every step of the way. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And that's the context with which I wrote it in the book. I'm happy that you took it the way you took it, because it got you off your ass and out of that moment. But like that's what those 3 pieces equate to.
Cool.
Right? When it comes, like, if you're going to piss people off, cut folks from the team, like, do things that are going to move people out of homeostasis momentarily. Like, you better have a really good fucking reason why. And so, like, that's where that comes from. And then, if it's just you, you can go from mission to me really fucking quick. It's like, it justifies the late nights. It justifies the early mornings. It justifies the, every hour on the hour meetings and social media posting and the marketing strategy. And it justifies everything. It is the means to the end. And what I notice when people get stagnated, especially in the context of entrepreneurship, right? The 2 things I see them most often is that the mission isn't big enough to justify the discomfort, or they hold on to the idea that the money is the mission. They make the money the mission. And if you look at just organizational leadership, everybody has a price, but typically that price is so high it can't be paid. So people don't leave organizations because they don't get paid enough. They leave because of shitty leadership, the incentives above and beyond money, right? The feeling of self-worth, the gratification of the job, has dwindled in some way, right? And I forget where I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about that very thing. There's it's a cultural thing, right? There's 2 ways to really reward and incentivize your team: culture and compensation. Well, depending on where you're at in the business cycle, what's easier to cultivate? The culture or compensation? If you ain't making shit, right? you better have a rock solid culture.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
And James Stratman, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, actually said it really, really, really well. You've got a rock solid culture when, without asking for more compensation, your people are asking for more work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So bringing it back around to Inner Circle, like that's the context of Mission Marines and me.
I love it.
You know?
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, super helpful to me because I was definitely in the money loop. Like, where's the money going to come from?
Yeah, notice that it's not money, mission, Marines,
right,
me.
Right. Totally. But like, I guess when you start fresh at something, you always think like, this shit's going to fucking blow up. I'm so awesome. Like, I'm going to have people out the door, this and that and the other, and then they don't come and they're like,
oh man. Yeah.
What did I do? Like,
that is the lie of lies.
Yeah. So, no, and honestly, everything is always fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's never been a time in my life when things haven't worked out. And no matter how close it's gotten, you know what I mean? Like, I've come back from Africa with $100 in my bank account and no job and was like, what the fuck am I going to do? But, like, you just make it work anyways. So it's never that, but you just so easily get stuck in it and you're like, oh, why? And why is not the appropriate question anyways. It's, what can I do to further my mission? And so I don't know. That's what I needed.
It again justifies everything. Every concession you make, every inconvenience, like all the things that you do that you don't want to do, but you have to do. I just had this conversation not too long ago about this journey we're on as entrepreneurs and how, like, in the very beginning you do everything, right? Until you can afford not to do everything. Either you put a system in place, you're making enough money that you can outsource it. Like somehow, some way, you've created a circumstance where you don't have to do everything. Right? And you can just play in your lane, live in your flow. And I think ultimately that's exactly where we want to go. And, for a lot of people, I want to make this abundantly clear too. This 20%ers conversation isn't exclusively for entrepreneurs, because this game isn't for fucking everybody either. Right. But you can still wake up every day this fulfilled with a mission, a bigger why, a purpose above and beyond yourself, right? And be an employee. Like,
totally.
Like you can set that up for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, there's a million different ways to control your own destiny. And you don't have to establish an LLC and try to, compete with Walmart to do it. Right. And I think that's the fallacy that I see entrepreneurs and marketers in the social media space pitching, right? If you're an employee, you're playing down. You're not living up to your full potential. It's like, not everybody's wired for this shit.
Totally.
Just like I'm not wired for a desk job. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't pursue entrepreneurship in tech or software or anything like that. Right. Because that's not my shit. You know what I mean? So in the same way that I'm not wired for technology, you know what I'm saying? You're not living a lesser existence by not being an entrepreneur.
Totally agree.
At the same time, if you have that itch, you need to find a way to scratch it.
Totally.
Because another conversation I was having was, they say when you dive into this thing that, burn the boats, get rid of your backup plan, like. Oh,
like jump both feet first.
Right.
And just
build the fucking parachute on the way down, like do the damn thing.
Yeah.
And the reality of the situation as we sit here in the great land of America, right? You can always get a fucking job. Like, the absolute worst case scenario, you can always get a job. If you're even thinking about being an entrepreneur, right, there's an intangible there that makes you marketable, period, right? So there it is.
Right.
So
It's always going to work out.
So that being said, I'm like, why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you really have that itch for discovery,
Mm-hmm.
go figure it out.
Totally.
Right?
Yep.
Because until you can honestly look yourself in the mirror and say, I gave it my best shot. I tried fucking everything. And it still didn't work out. Cool. Go back to doing what you're doing.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Totally. Have you noticed too how, I don't know, all the marketing that I get from people, it's very like, your shit's going to happen in a month. Just start, just open, and you'll be making money in 5 fucking days or whatever it is. And obviously that's not true. Like, it can take a minute sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of that stuff is geared to get you off your ass and take action. Number one.
Sure.
I don't think that everybody out there playing that game is full of shit. I'm not that skeptical. However, I think in order for it to work the way that they market it, you have to execute with absolution.
Yeah.
And that's where the deal falls short and leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. Because not that they take shortcuts or whatever, they don't like buy into whatever program and smash the gas, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like that 30-day ramp up, you know, revolutionary change that people experience. It's like, you know, you might be, you know, in the fine print expected to put in 20 hours a day for the next 30 fucking days.
Yeah.
You know, if they were being, if it was complete transparency, like that would be the fucking message.
Right.
Like, don't enter this program if you are not prepared to do X, Y, Z. You know, and I think that's more what happens when it, you know, it's supposed to be 30 days and it takes a year. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, perfect example. I joined this group to get my book written. And it was, their pitch was, we'll get your book done in 30 days, right? And
You're writing, or they?
I'm writing it.
Right, but they'll have it published in 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll walk you through how to do it all yourself.
Okay.
Right? And because of my failure to execute, the plan didn't work in 30 days, right? It took me 6 months longer to get Inner Circle out there.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I can't wholeheartedly place blame on the marketers, right? It worked for somebody.
Sure.
You know. Sure. So, but yeah, I think that, you know, if you're, it's not those programs, the people that are singing that song, you know, if you don't have all of your shit together to like just execute on a massive level, like, let's not be unrealistic, right?
Sure.
Because that's the other thing. That's what people want to do, right? They want to place their failure on somebody else, right? Yeah. It didn't work. It was full of shit. It took way longer than it was supposed to, or it didn't work at all. Yeah. Well, like, did you follow it to the letter?
Right. For
real. You know? Oh no? Okay, cool. You know?
Yeah.
Like that's what and I see it time and time again. And it would be very easy, like, especially in my scenario with Inner Circle and finally getting it out there. It took a number of circumstances and people to get me to finally pull the fucking trigger on it. I've been sitting on Inner Circle for 2.5 years. And then I went to shoot the old podcast at a seminar, and this program was there. They had a booth, and I was like, sweet. Yeah. You're going to teach me how to get it from this Word document out to the planet Earth. Awesome. Yeah. So, you know, that investment, I don't feel like it was wasted, but it got me to take action, right?
Totally.
Lesson learned, right? There's definitely a more efficient way to do it, right? And then even then, once I got the manuscript done, I was like, I'm not ready, right?
Why weren't you ready?
I didn't think the book was long enough. Like I was in that academic brain
Yeah.
where it was like word count,
Yeah.
so many pages, restate the same thing 7 different ways to, fill this quota. And, for that and a lot of other reasons, like I put a lot of me, I put all of me into that fucking book. I was like, I don't know if I want all that shit out there. You know what I mean? Just second guessing the whole thing.
Totally.
The whole way. And then I was in, I subscribed to this text service, this motivational text service. And I'm sitting in another seminar, right? Reframing my beliefs about money.
Yep.
And
those are the best.
fuck. And I get this text message in the middle of the deal.
Yeah.
And it says, whatever it is you're holding off on, take massive action on it right now.
Yeah.
And in the next breakout group, this is no bullshit. This is why I'm such a fervent believer in the universe. I get that text message. Shouldn't have been checking my phone in the fucking seminar.
That's fine.
Right? Whatever.
Meant to be.
Bad attendee. In our next breakout group, we're doing this intro. Who you are, where you from, what do you do? And the woman next to me is like, I'm Jill, and I'm a publisher. Dude. I was like, take my money. Like I'm not in a position to ask questions anymore.
Yep.
Like this needs to happen, right? You can take it from this raw manuscript and take it to the finish line.
Yep.
Let's fucking go.
Yep.
And like I didn't care at that point. I just knew mission that it needed to get done.
Totally.
So there we go. Boom. And then it launched as a bestseller.
So fucking cool.
So like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The process didn't fail me, but it got me to take enough action to move to the next step, right? And when I got stuck, something else moved me to action to take the next step, right? And if you can systematize your life so that
Is that a word?
No.
Okay.
But you understood what I was saying.
I did, but I half was
That's
like.
That's cool. You know a word that we use in the Marine Corps a lot? Phraseology.
Systematize?
That's not a fucking word, Right.
What's the context of that? Phraseology.
It's the way we say things and then assign a definition to it. Yeah, it's a thing.
So like phraseology.
Yeah.
Got it.
Orientate is not a word.
Not.
We use that a lot.
So I totally cut you off. Sorry, but I was like, damn. My knowledge of the English language is not that great.
No, man, we're just really good at making shit up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, but like if you can create systems in your life to condense those gaps, right? So that you're consistently and routinely taking action and it doesn't take these ways of emotional kicks in the ass to get you to move, you know what I mean? Then you're really winning.
Really
winning.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that one of the ways to do that is to put yourself in the company of people that are doing the same thing and that are playing the game at all levels, right? People that are right there where you're at, people that are light years ahead of you, and people that are like right behind you. Like getting their thing going, like they're even like still in idea mode.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, I remember when I was back there. Like, okay, context, progress, awesome. Holy fuck, I wish I could get there.
Yeah.
Context, so much further to go. Right, and you're playing this this game of bracketing, right? And that's a huge opportunity to facilitate regular progress.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Mine's always still the emotional shit. I get stuck.
We gotta get you out of that.
I get stuck in a rut, and then something happens. I'm like, okay, good. I'm good.
Yeah, it's like that emotional stimulation. It's like, because it's okay enough to just hang out there.
Totally.
And
not for me, which is good.
Okay.
So I totally get what you're saying with that, but it used to be like a super emotional person, I guess you could say. And not that emotions are bad or I can't feel my emotions or anything like that, but it's
ice
like
cold.
Yeah,
ice queen.
Cold. I'll fucking murder you. I'm just kidding. But it's more like when I am feeling emotions, I'm like something's off. So it's like a clue.
Yeah.
So then you start looking for answers to your clues. Hence your book. And then it's like, go.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, fuck yeah. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Right.
Yeah. But yo, if you can get me out of that emotional shit, I'm
You
down.
need to come to 20%ers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk me into it.
Come tonight.
What time?
6:15.
No, can't do. It's always Thursday at 6:15?
I'll send you an invite for the next one.
Okay, please do.
So you can plan.
They don't care about this.
You're a planner.
No, I'm not a planner. I just have shit going on already that I can't do.
Well, you have plans.
Yeah.
So don't act like you're not a planner.
Enough.
Whatever.
You.
So, I'm happy that you got all that from the book.
Yeah.
We completely went sideways with it.
Super great.
But yeah, no, that was legitimately the response. Like when I sat down and it went out and I waited, I was like, that's what I was hoping to hear.
Awesome.
You know.
Has anybody else had that kind of reaction to it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I
Good.
mean, it's been a resoundingly positive response.
Awesome.
And even from people that in my inner circle who have permission to give me brutal honesty, like the message was received. There's a lot of things that could have been done better, but that's everything.
Yeah.
But, you know, in terms of the what they got from it,
Awesome.
it was all there.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's even prompted a request that I think I'm going to facilitate, and that's an autobiography, because there's a lot of pieces in there that are like, like, oh man, like this got me to, you know, reading this passage got me to do this, blah blah blah, but it also was like, man, I want to know more about that. Like,
yeah,
I want to know about the shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Yeah. But
that's so cool.
But I wasn't going to.
This is what you weren't going to do. Now you're doing it.
So, but then, you know, I have groups like 20%ers that are like, you should do that. You know, like people would benefit from it.
Totally.
Yeah. I've actually got a feature coming out in Arizona Foothills about the book.
Nice.
And, you know, with regards to writing books, if you've got something you need to get out there, I don't think there's any better medium. You know, it's so cathartic.
Totally.
You know,
yeah.
Like if I had just left it at the manuscript, I felt like I had accomplished something. You know what I mean? Even if it never got to publish, like just for me, it was totally worth it.
That's cool.
Pain in the ass as it was, totally worth it. You know, I'm happy for where it's at.
Good.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah. So what are you working on now? What are the things?
What other things I'm doing? So I am just started a new coaching program actually. Okay. And I'm going to be making an online course for body dysmorphic disorder, because you know last time, we talked about that.
Yeah.
I suffered from that, and there was literally nothing out there when I was going through it except for like Mayo clinics, you know, do this, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. It's going to be a 6-month course. It's going to be online and in person, and we're going to be doing some obviously deep work. Yeah. With that, using some natural therapies to kind of help whoever's struggling with that to feel better. So yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty jazzed.
What how long have you where are we at in the process? When was it just an idea, and when, you know, how far along are we?
Here's what's cool about me. I'm going to toot my own horn for a second.
Please.
I literally have no ideas ever. And then I'll be sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'll get an idea, and I'm like, I'm fucking doing it. And I go and do it.
Okay.
And then struggle the whole entire way. But at least I go do it. So that's cool. So the idea came about literally, I think I was just like perusing Facebook or something. And I saw this guy, his name's Yuri, and he had this like little webinar. He's like, watch my webinar. And I was like, fuck it, whatever. I'm not doing nothing. So I watched the webinar, and I was just like, I don't know, it just made a lot of sense. Yeah. What he was doing. And then also it was a way to, you know how I was saying like writing is super cathartic. It was kind of like a way for me to address that piece of me. Yeah. And then simultaneously like help other women who are struggling with it. Like, because when I got over my shit, holy fuck, my entire life changed. Like it was awesome. So, I'm only like 2 weeks into it.
Okay.
So I hope to be launched by September 6th.
Nice.
You know, that massive action?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to really hunker down and do it.
Now the world knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. Fuck. Ooh. I take it back. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I'm working on that, and I'm actually really super excited about it. You know, like, he's kind of like, make it a system, like make it a thing that everyone will benefit from who is suffering from this.
Yeah.
And when you think about, like, I never thought about it in terms like that. So having to sit down and think about it that way was like, I don't know if there are any steps. Like,
yeah.
And then you start to think about it, you're like, there are fucking steps.
There's
like,
always steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's just it's challenging, but super cool. And just, I don't know. I'm super jazzed about it.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we'll definitely promote it.
Oh, thank you.
No doubt.
Appreciate that.
Where can the 20%ers find you? Solicit your services.
Solicit my services.
Or just watch you spread your message.
My rants about stop trying to fucking fix
everybody. Stop trying to fucking fix people. Let
it go.
Let Rachel fix people. How about that?
I mean, that's fine, but I don't even do that. I just
you
give
fix
them,
me.
No, I didn't. I did not.
I blame
fix
you.
No,
I blame you for my fixing.
Let's talk about that. Do we have time to talk about that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How did I fix you? What did I do?
You diagnosed me. You gave me a plan. Yeah, I had to do the stuff.
Exactly.
But you fixed me. I'm going to continue to project that on you.
Thanks, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
If you need fixing, go see Rachel.
Well, if you're ready to work hard to feel better, then you come see me. I will help you through it.
There you go.
But you did all the fucking work, man.
Yeah.
You did.
Well, there was no work to be done without you, so how about that?
Oh, my God. We could go back and forth
let's
all
do that.
day. No, let's not.
Yeah, so for anybody that's, either run out of options or looking to not go through all the options and look at a naturopathic remedy, where can people find you?
So I am at www.alineahealth.net, ALINEA. And also on Instagram at Alinea_health. And then also, there's lots of like photos being taken right now. Also, what is my Facebook? I think Facebook is Dr. Rachel Hesselbrock. Might be Alinea Health. I'm not sure. Just put that in there and you'll find something.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the launch of your course.
Thank you.
And definitely spreading that message for sure.
Thank you.
If any of you are in search of a naturopath or looking to explore those options, you now have a resource in Dr. Rachel and Alinea. So I really appreciate you making the time. I know we had to shuffle some things to get you in here today. Okay. I really appreciate you being flexible.
Absolutely.
And until next time, guys, focus on the things that matter: health, wealth, relationships, and time.
Love it. Bye.